Alejandro Garnacho has been heavily linked with Chelsea. This is what Chelsea's head coach Enzo Maresca had to say about United's forward.
The club have been linked with a move for Alejandro Garnacho in this transfer window. Are you happy with the wide options you have, or do you think that you could do with one more right now?
No, I'm happy with the one that we have in this moment, that we said many times. In the right side is Pedro Noni, in the left side Jadon. With the club, with sport director, we pay attention if something can happen, and we see in the next 10 days if something is going to happen.
So, Michael, Maresca not saying too much, but we know that Chelsea have expressed an interest about Garnacho. So where are we with that?
It's a player who is under consideration for Chelsea at present. Now, it might have to rely on Mykhailo Mudric's injury, potentially Nkunku moving on, João Felix, who's only just joined, potentially moving on as well. But we've seen already from Enzo Maresca, who's usually one of the most open managers, I feel, in press conferences. He likes to work with a tightish squad, seems to have his plan for when he plays in domestic competitions in Europe. But obviously we have to remember as well, there's another team at play here. Napoli had a bid rejected from Manchester United. Our colleagues in Italy are telling us that maybe United have perhaps lowered the demands but haven't reached a figure yet acceptable for Napoli. So you do want under Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, okay. I don't think actually United want to sell Garnacho, but we've been talking about throughout this transfer window about, you know, untouchables in squads, various squads, and there aren't that many. A player like Alejandro Garnacho, the optics, I agree, wouldn't look great if they allowed someone like that to leave. But the financial situation at United and at other clubs is such that if a suitable offer was to come in, I'm not saying United would definitely sell, they would have to look at it. They have to look at every kind of offer that comes in.
But if they've lowered their valuation of him, that's them indicating to everybody he's for sale, isn't it?
Remember what I told you in the last 2-3 days. Important week to understand the future of Benjamin Šeško. And I maintain my position. It's going to be a very important week because Newcastle have presented their project to the player side, because Newcastle are attacking, so Newcastle are prepared to make a big proposal financially to the player and a big proposal financially also to Red Bull Leipzig, obviously with this Isaac story ongoing with Liverpool. So for Šeško, Newcastle are ready to make something big. But don't forget also Manchester United, because as I told you, Manchester United have been discussing internally for days about strikers. Only Watkins, but Aston Villa insist on keeping the player, Benjamin Šeško, but obviously financially is not an easy deal. But Man United also in the recent hours on Sunday night, on Monday morning, made new contacts with Benjamin Šeško's camp, not directly with the player, but with agents of the player, to start conversations about eventual numbers. The contract, the project, the vision. So Manchester United are starting to move. Newcastle have already presented their project and are prepared to match the financial request. So Newcastle are ready to make a very important proposal to Šeško and to Leipzig. Manchester United have started the concrete conversation while they discussed his name internally for weeks. So keep an eye on this Šeško story, because in the next hours, days, we will understand more on what Benjamin Šeško wants to do and so what's going to happen. Remember what I told you in terms of price. It was a story from earlier last week, exclusive update to tell you the details of the deal. For Šeško, there is a gentleman agreement between the player, the agent and Red Bull Leipzig in very good relationship. If the player tells Leipzig there is a club I consider special, there is a gentleman agreement to make the price drop to 70-80 million euros. So 70-80, let's say this is the range. And then 5-10 million euros in add-ons. So this could be the package.